Sun breathing. The sun breathing first appeared in episode 19 of the anime, when Tanjiro faced upper rank 5, Rui. This technique is also known as Hinokami Kagura. This can be considered the most famous episode of Season 1, meticulously crafted in both visuals and sound by Studio Ufotable. The origin of sun breathing was disguised for hundreds of years in the form of a ceremonial Kagura dance inspired by Shinto mythology. In the ancient tale, when the sun goddess Amaterasu retreated into a cave, the world was plunged into darkness. The goddess of dawn and mirth, Aim no Uzume, danced outside to invite her to return, bringing back the light. From this event, Kagura was born a sacred dance honoring the gods, which was also the way the Kamado family secretly passed down sun breathing through generations. This breathing style emulates the power and movements of the sun, expressed through the unique techniques and footwork of Demon Slayer swordsmen. The Nichiren blade of a sun-breathing user often bears a pure black color, an extremely rare shade. According to Uro Kodaki, a blade only turns red when heated during battle, so Haga Nezuka's initial disappointment with Tanjiro's black sword was unfounded. The difficulty of sun-breathing is extremely high. Every time he uses it, Tanjiro struggles to breathe and becomes exhausted. However, it allows the user to surpass their physical limits, triggering the Demon Slayer mark. Users of sun breathing are often the first to manifest the mark, which then spreads to others. Historically, Yoriichi Tsugikuni was the first to bear the mark and pass it on to other swordsmen. By Tanjiro's generation, he became the first in hundreds of years to awaken it, ushering the Demon Slayer Corps into its most powerful era. Yoriichi is the only known swordsman capable of using sun breathing perfectly. Fortunately, he saved the life of Sumiyoshi, the Kamado family's ancestor. With extraordinary memory, Sumiyoshi remembered all 12 forms after witnessing them just once. The forms were so beautiful that Sumiyoshi forgot to breathe, as if Yoriichi had transformed into a transcendent spirit. To keep the secret safe, Sumiyoshi disguised the entire technique as the Dance of the Fire God, along with the Hanafuda earrings as a treasured heirloom. This was also his way of repaying Yoriichi, the man who saved his entire family and proving that Yoriichi's life was never in vain. Every new year, the Kamado family would perform this dance from dusk until dawn, repeating all 12 parts in sequence to offer to the fire god, praying to ward off illness and misfortune. When combined with proper breathing rhythm, the dancer could maintain it all night without fatigue, as if the vitality of the flames flowed through every heartbeat. Later, after being severely wounded by Muzan, Tanjiro fell into a coma and entered the memories of his ancestor, witnessing Yoriichi performing the original sun breathing. He realized that the family's handed-down version still had inaccuracies in wrist angles, footwork, and breathing rhythm. By correcting these details, Tanjiro was able to fully unleash its power and perform all 13 forms in the final battle. Dance. A vertical downward slash in an arc motion, dance is the first technique Tanjiro used when he initially performed sun breathing, powerful enough to destroy Rui's cage thread and his crimson blood demon art threads. Later, in the swordsmith village, Tanjiro elevated this technique to a new level by combining it with the acceleration method of thunder breathing, which he learned by observing Zenitsu. By taking a deep breath, increasing blood flow, focusing it into his legs, and releasing it explosively, Tanjiro created the dancing flash variation to chase down and strike Hantengu's main body. Clear blue sky, a full body spin and twist in a circular motion, delivering a powerful 360 degrees / capable of crushing the neck bones of high-ranking demons. Raging Sunday. 2 consecutive horizontal arc slashes striking around the user. This technique is sharp enough to cut through Daki's belt sashes to the point where she admitted it was even more dangerous than water breathing. Burning Bones. Summer Sun. A single spiraling forward slash, resembling a fiery drill. This technique creates a sensation of burning from within. The inflicted wounds cannot regenerate a pain that sears to the bone. Sunflower Thrust. The only form that uses the sword's tip to directly stab the target, the thrust is enveloped in a swirling blaze, creating a distinct visual effect. Sun Halo Dragon Head Dance. Unleashes a series of flowing consecutive slashes, forming the image of a Japanese dragon made of solar flames. The wounds inflicted cause burning agony and slow down the enemy's regeneration. Setting Sun Transformation. A mid-air backward flip followed by an extremely powerful horizontal slash. This is the technique Tanjiro used to finish off upper rank 3, Akaza, after entering the transparent world state. Solar Heat Haze. A direct charge towards the target followed by a slash shrouded in a heat haze like mirage, concealing the blade's true length and trajectory, giving a surprise advantage in reach. Beneficent Radiance. An aerial spinning technique delivering an upward spiral slash, providing both lift and a precise upward cut. Firewheel. A mid-air flip followed by a downward spiral slash, cleaving the target in two in an instant as if a blazing wheel of fire were crushing the opponent. Fake Rainbow. A technique relying on speed and twisting motion to create afterimages, deceiving enemies with sharp vision. Extremely effective against the 12 Kazuki. Flame Dance. Combines a vertical slash followed immediately by a horizontal slash, forming a blazing cross. 13th Form. The ultimate secret of sun breathing, only appearing when Tanjiro enters a special state, fully immersing himself in the memories of his ancestor Sumiyoshi. In that moment, he experiences his ancestor's perspective and witnesses Yoriichi, the creator of sun breathing, and regarded as the #1 swordsman, performing all 12 forms consecutively in a flawless circular sequence. From this observation, Tanjiro realizes a hidden principle. When dance and flame dance are alternated with the remaining forms in a repeating sequence, the speed and precision of the movements increase to their maximum limit, sustaining relentless offense without giving the opponent any chance to counterattack. This technique was created for one sole purpose: to kill Muzan. To defeat him, all 12 vital organs, 7 hearts and 5 brains, which constantly move erratically inside his body, must be destroyed. Continuously cycling through all 12 forms not only tracks these organs but also applies immense pressure, forcing Muzan to expose his weakness. In history, only 2 people have ever successfully executed the 13th form: Yoriichi, and hundreds of years later, Tanjiro. Thunder Breathing. Thunder breathing is a swordsmanship style that emulates the destructive power and blinding speed of lightning. Its signature lies in sudden bursts of acceleration, moving so fast the naked eye can barely keep up, making it seem as if the user transforms into a lightning bolt tearing through the sky. This style focuses entirely on absolute speed and instantaneous, lethal strikes, felling enemies in the blink of an eye. When it comes to this breathing style, Kimetsu no Yaiba fans will immediately think of Pikachu God, Agatsuma Zenitsu, and his million-view fight scenes. In history, only 3 swordsmen are known to have used thunder breathing: former Thunder Hashira Jigoro Kuwajima, Kaigaku, and Zenitsu. Zenitsu, rumored future husband of Nezuko, has turned his appearances into the center of attention every time he draws his blade. Uniquely, Zenitsu can only use one technique of thunder breathing first form: Thunderclap and Flash. Instead of learning all 6 basic forms, he chose to refine Thunderclap and Flash to perfection, and even develop 3 distinct variations. Thunderclap and Flash. 6-fold is the first variation, allowing Zenitsu to move 6 times consecutively in mid-air by kicking off the air itself. Each movement carries an explosive burst of speed and creates a shockwave in the surrounding space. Every time he performs it, his eyes turn completely white, surrounded by crackling lightning, disorienting opponents and making it impossible to track his real movements. This was used in the iconic scene where he decapitated the spider demon. Thunderclap and Flash. 8-fold is a more advanced version, with 8 consecutive directional bursts. Zenitsu used this during the Entertainment District arc alongside Tanjiro and Inosuke to break through Daki's defenses, with Tanjiro opening the path using water breathing, Inosuke attacking, and Zenitsu delivering the 8-fold for a perfect pincer strike. Thunderclap and Flash. Godspeed is the ultimate variation, raising Zenitsu's speed to an entirely new level. However, it is so physically draining that if used more than twice, Zenitsu's legs will be unable to move. In the Infinity Castle arc, as the battle stretched until dawn, Zenitsu had grown strong enough to use Godspeed at will without collapsing immediately. As for Kaigaku, he was Zenitsu's fellow disciple but became a demon after refusing to aid humans. In his life-or-death battle against Zenitsu, Kaigaku used the remaining 5 forms of thunder breathing. Second form. Rice Spirit delivers 5 consecutive slashes, imbued with black lightning, representing black thunder. This special effect is achieved by combining thunder breathing with his blood demon art. Third form. Thunder Swarm generates dome-shaped waves of electricity, surrounding and attacking the target from all directions, striking Zenitsu from multiple angles at once. Fourth form. Distant thunder forms a compressed ball of electricity that discharges in multiple ranged blasts. Fifth form, heat lightning, an upward diagonal slash from long range, accompanied by razor-sharp bolts capable of cutting through flesh and burning the struck area. Sixth form, rumble and flash unleashes a series of rapid, long-range lightning strikes, bombarding the target so relentlessly that Zenitsu was forced into constant defense. However, Kaigaku could not perform first form, thunderclap and flash, the foundational technique of thunder breathing, due to his lack of patience and dedication in training. This is why, despite his talent, he could never reach Zenitsu's level. Lastly, there is seventh form, Onoi Kazuchi no Kami, a technique created solely by Zenitsu and the most powerful move in all of thunder breathing. He developed it with the dream of one day fighting alongside Kaigaku, but ironically, it became the very move that killed him. Beast breathing. Born and raised deep in the mountains and nurtured by wild animals, Inosuke Hashira possesses exceptional physical strength, agility, and combat instincts. Without being taught by anyone, he created an entirely new fighting style, beast breathing. Inosuke does not call his techniques forms like other swordsmen, but fangs, because each technique is as wild and sharp as a predator's strike. Not only powerful, Inosuke's techniques are also extremely versatile, especially when combined with his dual serrated Nichiren blades, which he personally chipped to match his instinctive fighting style. Now, let's see how Inosuke turns his fangs into devastating weapons. First fang, pierce. A dual thrust with both serrated Nichiren blades aimed directly at vital points such as the neck or chest. This is a quick, clean opener often used to close the gap and finish the enemy before they can react. In many battles, Inosuke uses pierce as an instinctive preemptive strike, like a beast lunging at its prey. Second fang, slice. Both blades slash diagonally in a cross pattern, creating an X-shaped cut. The serrated edges make the wounds not only deep but also tear the demon's flesh apart, causing extreme pain and reducing their regeneration. This move is especially effective against demons with thick defenses or tough bodies. Third fang, devour. A simultaneous dual horizontal slash aimed at the enemy's throat or abdomen. Fourth fang, slice and dice. A rapid chain of double diagonal slashes, creating a storm of blades. This move played a key role when Inosuke coordinated with Tanjiro in the fight against lower rank 1, Enmu, on the Mugen train, helping expose Enmu's neck so Tanjiro could finish him with Hinokami Kagura, clear blue sky. Fifth fang, crazy cutting. A move that truly captures Inosuke's wild nature. After breaking free from a blood demon art, he bursts through the train roof, leaps into the air, and spins while slashing in all directions. The rotation combined with his continuous strikes shreds demon structures and flesh tentacles in seconds. Sixth fang, palisade bite. Both swords attack from opposite directions like two saws turning against each other. Inosuke uses this to sever demon body parts at close range, especially effective against opponents that wrap, constrict, or create barriers with their bodies. Seventh fang, spatial awareness. Not an attack, but the ability to sense the slightest shifts in air movement to locate enemies. This skill saved the group when the wind was too strong for Tanjiro to smell demons. Inosuke found Enmu's neck even when he had merged with the train. Eighth fang, explosive rush. A head-on charge at extreme speed, ignoring incoming attacks to overwhelm the target with raw physical strength. Inosuke uses this as a wind-cleaving opener, leaving the enemy no time to defend. Ninth fang, extending bendy slash. Inosuke deliberately dislocates his shoulders to increase the reach of his strikes, delivering slashes from seemingly impossible angles. This technique shows his extraordinary body flexibility, making his attacks highly unpredictable. Tenth fang, whirling fangs. He spins both serrated blades like giant fan blades, creating a death vortex in front of him. This move is strong enough to shatter upper rank 2 Doma's Ice Blood Demon art, opening the way for allies to attack. 11th fang, sudden throwing strike. Throws both swords in a spinning motion like giant throwing knives aimed at the target. This long-range finisher once combined perfectly with Kanao to decapitate Doma, completing Shinobu's revenge. Flame breathing. Flame breathing was first introduced to audiences through Kyojuro Rengoku, the blazing flame Hashira of the Demon Slayer Corps. He is one of the most emotionally impactful characters, not only for his unyielding spirit and everlasting smile, but also for his life and death battle against upper rank 3, Akaza, where he fell, yet his strength and will remain forever engraved in the hearts of fans. This breathing style emulates the explosive force and scorching heat of fire, with powerful techniques focused on direct defense, high speed, and lethal impact. First form, Unknowing Fire. The Phantom Flame opening speed technique, where the swordsman dashes toward the target at tremendous speed before delivering a single, decisive horizontal slash to the opponent's neck for decapitation. Its swiftness and precision make it nearly impossible for even the fastest demons to react. Second form, Rising Scorching Sun. An upward vertical arc slash, often launched from a tail guard, creating a blazing trajectory filled with overwhelming force. Third form, Blazing Universe. A downward vertical arc slash, often brought down from a high guard, causing the user's Nichiren blade to ignite fiercely, turning it into a true sword of fire. Fourth form, Blooming Flame Undulation. A continuous flow of fluid circular slashes with flame trails merging into a massive stream of fire, both overwhelming and capable of repelling even the strongest attacks, while also able to decapitate multiple targets. Fifth form, Flame Tiger. A technique embodying the form of a flaming tiger, starting from a guarded stance before unleashing a series of slashes that form the image of a blazing beast pouncing directly at the target, often used as a finishing blow. And finally, ninth form, Rengoku. The most powerful flame-breathing technique and Rengoku's signature form. The user assumes a high stance before performing an extremely high-speed dash toward the target and unleashing a single, devastating slash. Powerful enough to carve out the ground in its wake, this attack was depicted in the anime and movie as a colossal flaming Japanese dragon enveloping the user as they charged. Rengoku called it setting one's heart ablaze, a final push beyond his limits to protect his comrades. Though it could not defeat Akaza, it proved his indomitable strength and spirit, and served as his heroic farewell. The sixth, seventh, and eighth forms of flame breathing remain unrevealed, leaving a mysterious gap that, to this day, even fans can only speculate about. Love breathing. Love breathing first appeared in the Swordsmith Village arc, used by Mitsuri Kanroji, the love Hashira of the Demon Slayer Corps. With her beautiful appearance and gentle personality, Mitsuri can make anyone fall for her at first sight. But don't be fooled by her looks. Behind that smile lies a swordswoman with incredible strength and speed, further enhanced by a unique Nichiren blade, thin, flexible, and whip-like, allowing her to unleash sword strikes that are nearly impossible to predict. First form. Shivers of First Love transforms Mitsuri into a graceful whirlwind. She dashes forward, delivering a single slash through her enemy, yet the blade's flexibility allows her to strike multiple targets at once, as if dancing across the battlefield. Second form. Lovepang sees Mitsuri swing her long, whip-like blade in a lash-like motion, striking targets from multiple angles. This was the technique she used to slice Ohakuten's wooden dragon into countless splinters in the blink of an eye. Third form. Catlove Shower is a breathtaking display. Mitsuri leaps into the air, performing a series of consecutive curved slashes. These strikes were sharp enough to cut through even the violent lightning attacks of the wooden dragon, and so swift and fluid that even Tanjiro could not follow them with the naked eye. The fourth form of love breathing remains a complete mystery never used or revealed by Mitsuri, leaving fans to only speculate about its true power. Fifth form. Swaying Love. Wild Claw stands at the peak of destructive force. Mitsuri propels herself into the air, spinning her body while unleashing dozens of winding slashes, creating a massive tornado that sweeps away everything within range. Its reach is so vast that she could wipe out multiple wooden dragons at once, reducing the colossal constructs to debris in seconds. Finally, sixth form. Cat-legged Winds of Love showcases Mitsuri's exceptional aerial control. She extends her blade straight and executes a sequence of continuous arc-shaped slashes, creating a storm of cutting winds that shreds anything in their path. The combination of strength, speed, and flexibility makes love breathing one of the most unique and unpredictable combat styles in the entire Demon Slayer Corps. Serpent breathing. Serpent breathing is a derived branch developed from water breathing, inspired by the slithering motion of snakes. The techniques within this style are often unpredictable, attacking from unexpected angles, coiling around the target with winding, curved sword movements, as sharp and deadly as venomous fangs. True to its name, serpent breathing perfectly mimics how a snake approaches its prey silently, flexibly, yet extremely dangerously. The attacks do not strike directly forward, but instead coil around, circle behind, and strike from blind spots, making it nearly impossible for demons to react in time. The accompanying visual effect features white serpents twisting around each strike, one of the most visually stunning and distinctive effects among all breathing styles. The user of serpent breathing is the Serpent Hashira, Obanai Iguro. With a flexible, agile physique and a Nichiren blade shaped in a serpentine curve, Iguro's combat style is uniquely unmistakable. His sword is colored lavender, a cold shade of purple that conveys danger and death. First form, Winding Serpent Slash. A slithering horizontal slash in a spiral pattern, emulating the forward lunge of a crawling snake. Iguro spins and unleashes a curving strike that follows a serpentine trajectory, making it impossible for enemies to predict the direction of the attack. Second form, Venom Fangs of the Narrowhead. Iguro dashes behind the enemy at lightning speed and delivers a precise slash aimed at the neck, mimicking a snake's lethal bite when sinking its fangs into the back of its prey. This is one of the fastest techniques in the serpent breathing style. Third form, Coil Choke. Iguro coils his body like a snake constricting its target, then launches forward at high speed to deliver a horizontal slash aimed at the enemy's head. The movement mimics a snake coiling before striking a critical blow. Fourth form, Twin-Headed Reptile. Obanai unleashes two spiral slashes simultaneously from opposite directions, simulating a two-headed snake attacking at once. This technique has a high misdirection effect and is extremely dangerous in close-quarters combat. Fifth form, Slithering Serpent. A wide-range slashing technique in which Iguro manipulates his blade to slither like a living snake, sweeping through multiple targets at once. Thanks to the unique shape of his sword, the trajectory can change fluidly mid-air, creating an irregular attack path that is extremely difficult to evade. As of now, only Coil Choke and Slithering Serpent have been animated by Ufotable in the Hashira training arc. The remaining serpent breathing techniques have yet to appear in the anime, and may be revealed in future movie or anime adaptations. Mist Breathing. Although he carries the bloodline of Yoriichi Tsugikuni, Muichiro Tokido, the Mist Hashira of the Demon Slayer Corps, does not wield sun breathing, but rather mist breathing. The name might sound gentle and ethereal, but don't be mistaken. This is a deadly style, one that took him from an unknown rookie to a Hashira in just 2 months after joining the Corps. A true prodigy, yet also a tragedy. Muichiro fell in the final battle while still incredibly young. Now, let's see what makes this elusive breathing style so terrifying. First form, Low Clouds, Distant Haze. Muichiro delivers a direct, piercing thrust, sharp and powerful like lightning cutting through a veil of mist. Second form, 8-Layered Mist, a chain of 8 rapid slashes, so fast they give the illusion of 8 layers of mist overlapping, obscuring all angles of attack. Third form, Scattering Mist Splash, an extremely swift circular slash, powerful enough to destroy any incoming projectile, as when Muichiro blew away Gyoko's poisonous blood, forcing him to molt into his grotesque centipede-like monster form. Fourth form, Shifting Flow Slash, maintaining a low stance. Muichiro dashes straight toward the target and strikes while his body is shrouded in thick mist, making it difficult for the enemy to read his blade's trajectory. Fifth form, Sea of Clouds and Haze, charges into the enemy at blinding speed, weaving unpredictably while unleashing a series of continuous slashes around himself. With this technique and the Demon Slayer mark, Muichiro managed to bring his blade to Upper Rank 5's neck, barely missing, but enough to terrify him. Sixth form, Lunar Dispersing Mist leaps into the air, spinning and unleashing a flurry of slashes, cutting down multiple enemies in a single move. Seventh form, Obscuring Clouds, the ultimate secret technique of mist breathing. Muichiro vanishes from the opponent's sight, hiding within a dense mist, appearing and disappearing like a phantom. When the moment is right, his speed explodes to the point he can decapitate an enemy before they even realize they've been struck. This was the move that killed Upper Rank 5 Jocko in sheer panic, leaving him unable to comprehend the moment his head was severed. Mist breathing is not loud or ferocious like flame or wind breathing, but its lethality lies in ambiguity. You cannot react to what you cannot see, and when the mist clears, it's already too late. Wind breathing. Wind breathing, don't let the name fool you. This isn't just cutting the air. Its wielder is Sanemi Shinazugawa, the Wind Hashira of the Demon Slayer Corps and one of the strongest Hashira. In his hands, this style reaches an extraordinary level. Every slash is filled with killing intent, as fierce and violent as the storm it emulates. First form, Dust Whirlwind Cutter. Sanemi dashes forward at blinding speed, unleashing a series of horizontal, spiraling slashes like whirlwinds that tear enemies apart. Second form, Claws. Purifying Wind, a barrage of slashes as sharp as claws, capable of wiping out a group of demons in an instant. Third form, Clean Storm Wind Tree creates a sturdy tornado surrounding the user, both attacking enemies and defending from all directions. Fourth form, Rising Dust. Storm Tsunemi spins his blade to generate a violent sandstorm, shredding enemies into pieces and leaving behind a battlefield scene akin to a blender in action. Fifth form, Cold Mountain Wind, a chain of wide curved slashes, each expanding in radius, like the dry gusts descending from a mountaintop to sweep into the opponent. When sparring with the water Hashira, Giyu, this technique was so powerful it broke both of their wooden practice swords. Sixth form, Black Wind Mountain Mist. Tsunemi spins his body, releasing a swift and powerful arcing slash, like a black gust tearing through the air. Seventh form, Gale. Sudden gusts leaps high into the air, swinging his blade to produce a fierce wind current that rips through the target. Tsunemi once used this in coordination with the stone Hashira, Gyome, during their battle against Kokushibo. Eighth form, Primary Gale Slash leaps into the air and swings the blade to create circular gusts of wind, cutting down enemies in an instant. Ninth form, Idaten Typhoon Tsunemi flips upside down midair, releasing a ferocious spiraling wind attack from an inverted position, powerful enough to shred everything below. He used this technique to block Muzan when the demon was in his giant infant form, determined not to let his comrades' sacrifices be in vain. Under Tsunemi's mastery, wind breathing is not just speed and power, it is a raging storm, where every strike carries the unyielding will of a Hashira ready to step into the heart of the tempest to protect humanity. Sound breathing. Sound breathing is a derivative branch developed from thunder breathing, used by the sound Hashira, Tengen Uzui. True to its name, this combat style emulates the properties of sound, speed, impact, and amplification. Instead of focusing on traditional sharp strikes, sound breathing creates destruction through sheer loudness, explosive force, and movements approaching the speed of sound. Tengen Uzui stands out not only for his exceptional physical strength, but also for his extraordinary sense of hearing, allowing him to listen to an opponent's movements as if hearing a piece of music. From this, he developed a unique technique called the musical score, a system of analyzing combat rhythms that lets him read a demon's entire attack pattern and counter precisely as if moving in harmony with a deadly melody. Among the breathing styles introduced, sound breathing has the least screen time, with only 3 of its 5 forms ever shown. The first form, Roar, is a strike so powerful it creates shockwaves across the battlefield. During the Entertainment District battle, the explosion from Roar was so strong that Daki, who was fighting Tanjiro in an entirely different location, immediately sensed that a Hashira was on the move. This strike even blasted open a passage from the surface down to the underground storehouse, destroying the web-like structures that controlled people and freeing the captives. The fourth form, Constant Resounding Slashes, has Tengen spinning his dual Nichiren cleavers at extremely high speed, forming a dense defensive ring of blades. Anything that comes into contact with this spinning guard is instantly shredded, making it a mobile shield capable of both defense and relentless counterattacks. The fifth form. String Performance is perhaps the most spectacular and flamboyant technique of sound breathing. In this form, Tengen grips the hilts of his chain-linked dual Nichiren cleavers and spins them in wide arcs like twin guillotines, then charges toward the enemy at high speed while unleashing a continuous flurry of slashes. The anime adaptation enhanced this form with explosive visual effects, bursts of light flashing like festival fireworks symbolizing resounding sound, festive chaos, and devastating damage, perfectly embodying the spirit of a Hashira who lives by the motto of being flashy. Water breathing. Water breathing is one of the 5 original breathing styles, created based on the principles of sun breathing. With its long history and high effectiveness, water breathing has always had at least one Hashira, the water Hashira, wielding it in every era. It is also the very first style that protagonist Tanjiro learned, forming the foundation that allowed him to pass the final selection and step onto the path of demon slaying. Technically, water breathing is designed to mimic the movements of flowing water, graceful, adaptable, and able to adjust to any situation. Nichiren blades wielded by water-breathing users typically turn sky blue, though Tanjiro's sword became black for reasons fans will know well. In the anime, Ufotable portrayed water breathing with an artistic visual flair, smooth, flowing waves that carry strength beneath their beauty. Most techniques require the user to bend their body, arms, and sword in harmony with the continuous flow of water. When performed, the swordsman seems to generate and control actual water. First form, Water Surface Slash, is the most basic form, delivering a single horizontal slash aimed at decisively severing the target's neck. Second form, Water wheel is the technique Tanjiro used during the final selection when another examinee was captured by the hand demon. Tanjiro leapt into the air, rotated his body, and delivered a single vertical slash in a circular motion, severing the demon's elongated arm. Later, in Asakusa, Tanjiro adapted water wheel into improved lateral water wheel, a variation combined with the sixth form, whirlpool, by rotating his body to create a horizontal water vortex. This was used to envelop and redirect the arrows from Yahaba's blood demon art. Unlike the original vertical slash, horizontal water wheel slashes sideways, using the arrow's own spin to amplify the cut and decapitate the enemy. Third form, flowing dance, a continuous series of slashes, with the user swinging the sword and twisting the body in winding motions like flowing waves. It allowed Tanjiro to break through 6 simultaneous attacks from Susumaru's handballs and sever all 6 of her demon arms. Fourth form, striking tide, generates a series of rotating slashes, forceful like a rising tide, relentlessly pressuring the opponent with successive attacks. Fifth form, blessed rain after the drought, a technique that symbolizes the compassion of demon slayer, used when the enemy has surrendered, allowing them to pass peacefully. The mother spider demon is the only demon granted a serene death under this technique. Sixth form, whirlpool. Meaning violent torrent, it is extremely effective in aquatic environments. Tanjiro used it to attack the swamp demon even while suspended underwater with no footing. By spinning both his upper and lower body, he generated a massive vortex, drawing the enemy in and tearing it apart. Seventh form, drop ripple thrust. The fastest thrusting technique among the 10 basic water-breathing forms. A highly precise, straightforward stab with lethal damage potential. Eighth form, waterfall basin. A vertical slash executed by leaping into the air and slashing downward, resembling a waterfall crashing from above. Its visual effect is that of a large wave slicing through everything in its path. Tanjiro once used it to break the ambush of the swamp demon and sever several of his limbs but couldn't finish him off as he switched forms mid-attack. Ninth form, splashing water flow. Turbulent. A technique used to minimize landing impact, allowing agile movement in unstable terrain, such as inside the drum house. It gives the impression of walking on water, enhancing footwork. With this technique, Tanjiro was able to decapitate Kyogai, a former lower rank. 10th form, constant flux. Taught by Urokodaki and considered one of the strongest techniques Tanjiro learned. The blade rotates continuously, gaining more power and speed with each turn. As time passes, the slashes become faster and stronger. The visual effect is a water dragon spiraling around the user, a majestic, powerful image capable of deflecting Rui's blood demon art threads at their strongest. 11th form, dead calm. A special technique created by Giyu Tomioka, the current water Hashira. Unlike the other water-based forms, dead calm completely eliminates motion, putting the user into a serene, still state. In this state, all incoming attacks are nullified, deflected, or cut down faster than the eye can follow. This is the very technique Giyu used to one-hit defeat lower rank 5, Rui, in an instant. Insect breathing. Insect breathing is a unique breathing branch developed from flower breathing. It is also the only breathing style in the system without clearly defined forms in numbered order. Instead of delivering decisive slashes like other breathing styles, this technique emulates the fast, light, and deadly movements of insects, especially venomous sting. The creator and sole user of insect breathing is the insect Hashira Shinobu Kocho. Unlike other demon slayers, she lacks the physical strength to decapitate demons with her sword. To compensate, Shinobu invented an entirely different fighting style, using a modified Nichiren blade shaped like an ultra-thin needle that pierces a demon's body and injects wisteria-based poison to kill them from within. Shinobu's sword sheath is designed as a mobile poison reservoir, allowing her to change the type of poison coating the blade at any time, depending on the combat situation. Thanks to her skill in formulating and controlling toxins extracted from wisteria flowers, she can create various types of poisons with diverse effects. This is what makes insect breathing one of the most visually stunning yet excruciatingly painful breathing styles for those struck by its techniques. The first technique ever shown in the anime is butterfly dance, caprice, used by Shinobu during her battle with the mature spider demon in episode 20 of season 1. In this move, she leaps gracefully into the air, diving toward the target like a fluttering yet deadly butterfly, piercing the opponent's body multiple times to inject poison, all in a single assault. The visual effect in this scene is breathtaking. A swarm of butterflies glides gently past the demon. One butterfly lands silently on her hand. Moments later, her finger begins to bleed. Then comes trembling, bulging veins, bruising skin, vomiting blood, and full-body spasms of despair. Her regeneration is nullified. She screams in agony before collapsing. There is no decapitation, no sunlight, just a slow, silent, and merciless death as the poison eats away her entire body. Dance of the Bee Sting. True Flutter, a technique in which Shinobu dashes forward at extreme speed to maximize the force of her stab, injecting poison into the opponent as quickly as possible, aimed precisely at lethal weak points for maximum damage. Dance of the Dragonfly. Compound Eye Hexagon, a 6-stab combo targeting 6 different weak points on the demon's body. Each thrust carries a large dose of wisteria poison, causing the enemy to be destroyed from within, delivering unbearable pain. Dance of the Centipede. 100-legged zigzag. This technique uses maximum speed to move in a zigzag pattern, disorienting the opponent and making it impossible to track the attack's direction. The move opens a gap to strike directly at the neck and inject a potent dose of poison, killing the target instantly. Flower breathing. Flower breathing is a derived branch developed from water breathing, characterized by its softness, fluidity, and artistic nature. Each technique mimics the appearance of flower petals swaying in the wind, swift, precise, yet no less deadly. The Nichiren blades of flower-breathing users are typically light pink in color, symbolizing fragile beauty and the hidden sharpness beneath. Compared to many other styles, flower-breathing stands out for its rotating movements, giving the impression that the user is manipulating thousands of flower petals in midair. Every step and every sword stroke is rich in aesthetic appeal, making it one of the most visually beautiful breathing styles in the entire series. In the story, only 2 characters have used flower breathing: Kane Kocho, the former flower Hashira, and Kanao Tsuyuri, her adopted younger sister who inherited the technique. However, both had limited screen time. Kane passed away before the main events of the story, while Kanao was given only a few moments to shine. In total, flower breathing has 7 forms, but so far, only 5 have been officially revealed by the author. The first and third forms remain unknown. Second form, Honorable Shadow Plum, a technique involving rotating sword slashes like flower petals to block or deflect incoming attack. During her battle with Doma, Kanao used this form to counter his cryokinesis blood demon art. Fourth form, Crimson Hanagoromo, also known as the Deep Crimson Flower Robe. This is an elegant yet precise offensive technique involving a curving, slightly twisted slash that targets the enemy with deadly accuracy. Fifth form, Peonies of Futility, a flurry of 9 consecutive attacks, swirling around the user before suddenly stabbing the opponent from multiple angles, simultaneously emulating a flower violently bursting open in a wave of lethal intent. Sixth form, Whirling Peach, a defensive evasive maneuver where the user spins their body with natural weight shift to dodge an incoming attack and simultaneously counter with a slashing strike. The visual effect is drifting sakura petals as if caught in the breeze of a spring day. Final form, Equinoctial Vermilion Eye, the last and most dangerous technique. This form enhances the user's vision to the utmost limit, making the surrounding world appear to move in slow motion. However, because the eyes are highly sensitive organs filled with delicate blood vessels and nerves, the immense strain may cause rupturing, leading to bleeding and even permanent blindness. The scenery shifts to a reddish hue, signifying that the user's vision has reached its biological limit. For Kanao, whose eyesight is already far sharper than average, this technique becomes especially effective. However, due to its extreme risk, Equinoctial Vermilion Eye is considered a technique that can be used at most twice in a lifetime, assuming the user still retains their eyesight afterward. Stone breathing. Stone breathing is one of the 5 original elemental breathing styles, developed directly from sun breathing. Based on the solid and unshakable strength of earth and stone, this style focuses on powerful, heavy, and decisive strikes, while also boasting superior defensive capabilities. Because of this, it is considered one of the most difficult breathing styles to master, perhaps second only to sun breathing, requiring immense physical strength as a prerequisite. The current user of stone breathing is the stone Hashira Gyome Himejima, a blind monk with a towering physique and overwhelming inner strength. Contrary to his massive appearance, Gyomei is extremely agile and precise in combat. Unlike most demon slayers who wield traditional Nichiren blades, Gyomei's weapons consist of a spiked flail and battle axe, connected by a chain all forged from the same material as standard Nichiren weapons. Because he cannot see, Gyomei developed a heightened sense of hearing and vibration. He uses the sound and movement of his weapon's collisions to determine enemy positions in space. For him, the flail and axe serve as his true eyes. In his life or death battle with upper rank 1 Kokushibo, Gyomei and Sanemi were seen as the most well-coordinated duo in the Demon Slayer Corps, relentlessly launching combined attacks that kept Kokushibo on the defensive. First form, Serpentinidae Bipolar, a technique in which Gyomei simultaneously controls both the axe and flail using the chain, spinning and hurling them at the enemy. Both weapons rotate like massive drills, generating a crushing force capable of piercing through a demon's defenses. This is the technique that tore Kokushibo's kimono, forcing him to unleash his blood demon art, Moon Spirit Calamitous Eddy. Second form, Upper Smash, a powerful overhead axe strike that crashes down onto the enemy's head. The decisive, direct blow emulates the collapse of a boulder falling from a cliff. Though simple, this attack carries devastating destructive force. Third form, Stone Skin. This is the only stone-breathing technique so far adapted into the anime. It involves rapidly spinning the chain while swinging both the axe and flail outward to create a rotating multi-directional defense and offense capable of blocking attacks from numerous directions simultaneously. Fourth form, Volcanic Rock, Rapid Conquest. A long-range dual weapon strike. Gyomei manipulates the chain to send both the axe and flail attacking from opposite sides, creating a crushing pincer formation that overwhelms the enemy's stance. Despite its tremendous power, this technique was only able to chip part of Kokushibo's flesh and blood sword. Fifth form, Arcs of Justice. A chain combo technique unleashed with the massive spiked flail, targeting the enemy's weak points. The first strike hurls the flail forward, followed by the axe swung in the opposite direction to complete the finishing blow. The synchronized speed and impact of both weapons leave the enemy defenseless. A key characteristic of the entire stone-breathing style lies in the coordination of both hands, two weapons, and the connecting chain, something only someone as strong and precise as Gyomei can accomplish. When his weapons forged from Nichiren material strike a demon's body, especially Kokushibo's sword made from flesh and blood, they cause a continuous burning effect. Because of this, every single blow from the stone Hashira carries the weight of life and death. Moon breathing. Moon breathing is the latest breathing style to appear in the world of Demon Slayer. Kimetsu no Yaiba, yet it ranks second only to sun breathing in terms of raw power. This one-of-a-kind style was created by Kokushibo Upper Rank 1, and also the first-generation swordsman who lived during the same era as Yoriichi Sugikuni. Although he was one of the first to learn breathing techniques, Kokushibo, then named Michikatsu Tsugikuni, was never able to surpass his genius younger brother. Haunted by the fear of dying young at the age of 25 after awakening his Demon Slayer mark, he betrayed the Demon Slayer Corps, murdered the reigning Ubuyashiki, and accepted Muzan's offer to become a demon in order to prolong his life. He continued training for over 400 years, clinging to the hope that he might one day surpass Yoriichi. Because Kokushibo left behind no successors, moon breathing was completely lost to history. All records of it were erased. Even demon slayers in Tanjiro's era are completely unaware of its existence. Just as sun breathing imitates the radiance of the sun shining upon everything to destroy demons, moon breathing reflects the opposite. The moon only appears at night, just like demons that live in the shadows and avoid the light. Kokushibo's choice of the moon as his symbol implies that he had accepted his fate as an eternal demon living in darkness. Moon breathing consists of 16 techniques, the most of any breathing style, the result of over 4 centuries of relentless training. However, only 11 forms were revealed in the story. The remaining 5 were buried with Kokushibo after his defeat. First form, Dark Moon Evening Palace. This was the technique Kokushibo used to strike Muichiro Tokito, the Mist Hashira. He simply drew his sword and unleashed a single crescent-shaped slash, but along its path, it generated multiple erratic crescent sword slashes, chaotic and difficult to predict. Second form, Pearl Flower Moongazing. Used to counter Gyomei's Volcanic Rock, Rapid Conquest. Kokushibo released 3 simultaneous slashes, creating a rain of crescent-shaped blades that forced Gyomei to activate his Demon Slayer mark, while Sanemi was even forced to draw his gun, though Kokushibo still deflected everything with ease. Third form, Loathsome Moon, Chains. A storm of crescent-shaped blades revolving around the user and expanding outward. Kokushibo used this against Sanemi's direct chart. Fifth form, Moon Spirit Calamitous Eddy. Generates multiple long, curved slashes stacked upon each other like a massive vortex. This technique is so powerful that Kokushibo doesn't even need to swing his blade. The attack is released with just the slightest movement. Sixth form, Perpetual Night, Lonely Moon Incessant. Unleashes countless crescent-shaped slashes capable of tearing apart the environment itself. A wooden pillar in the room was instantly sliced into segments, and Sanemi's body was heavily wounded to the point that his internal organs could fall out if he moved carelessly. When Kokushibo activated his ultimate weapon, the Flesh Katana, his blade transformed, growing 3 additional twisted flesh-like edges along its body. With it, he performed Seventh form, Mirror of Misfortune, Moonlit. A wide, crescent-shaped slash that simultaneously generates both straight and curved attacks, doubling the range of assault. Eighth form, Moondragon Ringtail. A massive curved slash that produces dozens of consecutive crescent-shaped slashes along its arc. This technique shattered Gyomei's leg, leaving him almost unable to reach Kokushibo. Ninth form, Waning Moon Swaths. A series of close-range, curved slashes that release numerous small crescent blades along their trajectory. 10th form, Drilling Slashes, Lunar Piercer. Creates 3 spinning circular slash zones resembling buzzsaws, each formed by dozens of crescent blades. This technique nearly killed Sanemi, if not for timely backup from Muichiro and Gyomei. During the intense 3 versus 1 battle with Gyomei, Sanemi, and Muichiro, Kokushibo unleashed 14th form, Catastrophe Tenman Crescent Moon. A storm of sweeping, curved slashes radiating outward in all directions, increasing in scale. Essentially a multi-directional offensive vortex, expanding from the center to engulf everything around. 16th form, Moonbow, Half Moon. The most powerful form of moon breathing. Kokushibo swings his sword to generate 6 massive crescent-shaped slashes that strike downward so powerful that they carve deep craters into the ground even before hitting the enemy. In almost every breathing style, the final form is typically the strongest. And for moon breathing, this holds especially true. The sheer destruction, pressure, and scale of Moonbow, Half Moon surpass all other techniques, proving that even though Kokushibo always lived in the shadow of his younger brother, he remained the strongest swordsman among demons in history. Thank you for watching until the end of this HT anime video. So, among all the characters and breathing styles we just explored, which one impressed you the most? Leave a comment below and let me know. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss the next videos. See you again in the upcoming episodes.